I'm Adrian, the Cruise and Travel Guy, and Carnival Corporation has a message for New Zealand. The country is difficult to work with, and it's responsible for pushing cruise lines out. While the state of the Australian cruise industry continues to heat up, it's safe to say that things have reached boiling point in New Zealand. As reported by Cruise Weekly, Carnival Corporation's Chief Strategy and External Affairs Officer, Teresa Lloyd, didn't mince words when speaking at the New Zealand Cruise Association conference last week. In fact, she pointed the finger squarely at New Zealand's government. Teresa Lloyd was speaking on the Future of New Zealand cruise panel at the conference when she clarified that cruise lines have not been lured away by other markets, but forced out because of the cost of doing business in the country. Only last month, New Zealand announced that the border processing fee for passengers arriving by cruise ship would rise 88% by December 1st. With almost no notice, cruise lines have no choice but to foot the bill, and based on projected passenger numbers for that period, the cost is coming in at around $2.2 million. That's $2.2 million that has not been accounted for. That cost increase is evidence of a government that has completely lost touch with anything to do with the cost of doing business in their own country. Logic dictates that if you're rising or increasing anything by 88%, that you would at least consult with the industry ahead of time, and reports are that that didn't happen. Lloyd continued, saying that when Carnival Corporation did express concern to the New Zealand government, they were dismissed. When we came to the government in New Zealand and articulated some of our problems and challenges, we were told, well, if you don't come, someone else will. It doesn't seem that is the case though, because speaking about future cruise capacity in New Zealand, the New Zealand Cruise Association Chief Executive Officer Jackie Lloyd said, "We're seeing a 15% reduction in this coming season, and we expect an additional 15 to 20% reduction for the 2025-2026 season." These developments, of course, come amidst other planned increases. The Port of Auckland has recently published its own schedule that dictates upcoming increases for the next 5 years. Speaking at the same event, Auckland Port CEO Roger Gray indicated that they got it wrong. We've heard the message and we'll be reviewing that level of increase and the duration. Cruise lines operating in this region are required to publish and sell fares that are inclusive of all fees and charges, which means that any last-minute increases have to be paid for by the cruise lines. As I say constantly in these sorts of videos, cruise lines will just move their ships to other environments that are friendlier towards those trying to do business. And while I don't think that we'll see this region abandoned completely, it's too stunning for cruise lines to just leave, I do believe, and we are seeing this trend already, that options will shrink and costs will go up. Short-sighted governments interested in short-term windfalls will ultimately damage the industry they already have. And as we know, ultimately consumers, residents, citizens will be the ones that pay the price. I was really impressed when reading about Teresa Lloyd's candidness, and I hope that others in authority in cruise lines and pro-cruise lobbies and even government step up and take control of this situation more openly to truly make people understand what will happen going forward if these issues are not addressed. And it really is indicative of the greater issues that are being faced in this region for companies trying to do business. Australia certainly isn't at that level yet, thankfully. And as the bigger market here, I think that Australia dictates what happens in the region a little bit more than what New Zealand does. But it's very important that both countries treat cruising properly to ensure that the tourism industry isn't impacted, that you and I that love to cruise are not as impacted as what we have been and what we will be in the short to medium term, and that things just get better. So let's see what happens going forward. Let me know in the comments, how do you feel about all of this? What do you think about New Zealand's approach to cruising? And yeah, hopefully Australia doesn't ever get quite that bad. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're interested in booking a cruise and supporting my channel, you can head to my website, cruiseandtravelguide.com.au, and give me a follow on Facebook and Instagram at The Cruise and Travel Guy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.